CHATIME viewers, I'm your host Kumar for ChaHealth. Today we'll be talking about another chronic disease, cholesterol. That's right, cholesterol. And today with me I have Purvi Chhichhia from ChaHealth. She will be talking to us about cholesterol, ways we can do changes with our diets, lifestyles and many other reasons, and behind cholesterol, what can be good and bad. Hello Purvi, welcome back to our show.
It's a pleasure being back on the show.
So Purvi, what is cholesterol?
Cholesterol is a fatty, waxy substance produced by the liver. And cholesterol is important in the body to some extent because it helps the body to function properly. But what happens is when there's excess cholesterol in the blood, it deposits in the walls of the blood vessels of the heart, and the walls become thick and narrow. So what happens is the blood cannot flow smoothly from those walls. Now these blood vessels are carry oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the different parts of the body. So it's very important that these blood vessels are healthy. And when they are narrow, they are thickened, they are blocked, the blood cannot flow smoothly, so the heart has to pump harder. And this puts a load on our heart, and from there there starts the cycle of cardiovascular diseases, which can begin with like blood pressure. So I've just got a small sample here to show you. These are the blood vessels of the heart. Now this is a clean blood vessel which is absolutely free of deposits. As the cholesterol in the blood increases and it starts depositing, this is how the deposits gradually starts building up. The plaque builds up here. This is the artery which has like a lot of plaque building, and this is when the point when things get serious. You can imagine how much of blood will actually flow from this. Hardly anything. So this is where the problem begins.
Right.
Every human being has 3 different type of fats in their blood, like the 3 different type of cholesterol in the blood. That's HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol, and it reduces the risk of heart disease. The LDL cholesterol is the bad cholesterol, and it increases the risk of heart disease. And there's one type of fat called triglycerides. Any unburnt calorie or excess energy in the body is stored as triglycerides. And triglycerides are highly responsible for increased heart disease risk. And excess saturated fat from the diet is responsible for increased blood cholesterol. Okay?
Right.
And we've got to remember that high cholesterol can also be because of genetic disorder. But whatever the reason is, if it's genetic disorder or it's because of lifestyle, taking medications on time, taking proper medications and lifestyle modification, by which I mean is dietary modifications and exercise, are important to control cholesterol levels.
Where does saturated fat come from?
Saturated fat basically comes from animal and dairy product. Vegetable products will not have saturated fat except coconut oil and palm oil. By dairy products, I'll include whole milk, cheese, butter, ghee, coconut cream, because pastries, cakes, pies, and meat products.
Right.
So these are high in saturated fats.
Right. And what about eggs?
Egg is high in saturated fat, but it's got many other different vitamins and minerals which are very necessary for the body. So the current recommendation is that having egg every day will not cause such a big problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we look at example, ghee, what can you show us on a ghee container?
Why there's so much of talk about ghee being being bad for the heart is it's very high in saturated fat. Now what I've got here is a box of ghee. I would just like you to concentrate on the food label here. So, if you remember the 10-10-5 rule that we learned in the last episode, that when we go out looking for a certain food product, the recommended amount of fat is should be 10 grams or less per 100 gram. The sugar should be 10 grams or less per 100 gram, and the fiber should be more than 5 grams. So, if we come back to this ghee box and we correlate the lessons that we learned last time, this is the average quantity of fat per 100 gram in this ghee box is 99 grams of fat per 100 gram.
Way over the 10 grams.
Absolutely, 9 times more. And if you see, the total saturated fat is 66 grams. So what we also discussed last time was that the saturated fat should be 1/3 of the total fat, and this has 66 grams of fat, saturated fat per 99 grams of the total fat, which is even more than 50%. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can imagine what damage it does to your to the walls of the blood vessels.
Right.
This is the saturated fat which gets deposited in the walls of the blood vessels of the heart and then causes the thickening and the narrowing of the arterial walls.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.